In an industry-shaking move, Cardi B has officially pulled out of the 67th Annual Grammy Awards, and the backlash is instantaneous. The decision, which comes hot on the heels of her high-profile war with Atlantic Records, is sending shockwaves across music's elite. Insiders say she was scheduled for a headlining performance and a surprise nomination reveal, until she told producers, "I'm not showing up to a table where my voice isn't welcome." The Recording Academy is scrambling, sponsors are furious, and the label, completely blindsided. With mounting public support and an industry already reeling from her leaked contract drama, Cardi's Grammy refusal might just be the final nail in the coffin for an old system. But was this a boss move, or a risky play that could isolate her further? One thing's for sure, this moment just changed everything. Stay tuned, we're breaking it all down. The week before the Grammy ceremony, buzz around Cardi B's scheduled appearance was at an all-time high. Leaked reports from behind the scenes said she was set to perform a medley of her most iconic hits, capped off by a brand new surprise verse that was rumored to include subliminal jabs at industry executives and even a nod to her ongoing battle with Atlantic Records. Cardi had remained publicly silent about her participation, but all signs pointed to a major moment. Her glam team had already flown to Los Angeles. Dancers were spotted rehearsing to a remixed version of Up. Her stylist dropped a cryptic Instagram story showing a dramatic red dress hanging against a gold Grammy logo. The caption? History incoming. But then, silence. 3 days before the show, everything stopped. The Grammy team reportedly received a simple one-line email from Cardi's management. Cardi will not be attending the 67th Grammy Awards. No explanation, no delay, no negotiation. Executives were blindsided. Within hours, chaos ensued. Sponsors who had paid millions for a Cardi B appearance began pulling out of planned commercials. One source claimed Pepsi had to re-edit an entire ad slot that was scheduled to debut during her performance. The Recording Academy scrambled to find a replacement, with less than 72 hours before airtime. But the question on everyone's mind wasn't who would replace her. It was why did she walk away? That answer came fast. Just hours after the email went out, Cardi posted a now viral video on her private fan app. She was makeup-free, in a hoodie, sitting in front of a window lit by LA morning sun. Her tone was calm, but direct. "I was gonna get on that stage and perform my heart out. But I realized, why perform for a room full of people who profit off me, but stay silent when I say I'm being controlled?" She continued, "They wanted the bars. They wanted the dress. They wanted the clicks. But they didn't want the message. So I'm not giving them anything." The internet exploded. Charles Cardi cancels trended worldwide. Fans flooded the Grammy page with demands for answers. Celebrities chimed in, some supporting her, others questioning the strategy. But Cardi wasn't done. She followed up with another statement, this time more cryptic. "They said this year was about celebrating truth in artistry. Well, I told mine. And now they mad." This only fueled speculation that the Grammy producers may have tried to censor her performance. And that's when the leak happened. A production assistant working on the Grammy show anonymously sent TMZ a rehearsal memo. The document revealed that Cardi had submitted a proposed set list and speech, but producers had requested several adjustments. Specifically, her spoken word intro criticizing industry contracts was flagged as too inflammatory. The second verse of her unreleased track, Vault Cracked, was labeled too political. She was asked to tone down references to being silenced. Cardi reportedly refused to make those changes. In her own words, as leaked by the assistant, "You want my voice, but not my volume. Nah." Fans began rallying even harder. TikTok creators made videos calling out the hypocrisy of an industry that uplifts Cardi's authenticity when it benefits them, but tries to mute her the moment she challenges power. One viral post read, "They want the Cardi that entertains, not the Cardi that exposes." Artists began subtly signaling support. Doja Cat wore a custom t-shirt to Grammy rehearsals that read, "Loud Women Make History." Billie Eilish reposted Cardi's original video with a single word, respect. Meanwhile, the Recording Academy remained silent, as did Atlantic Records, which only made things worse. The Recording Academy's silence in response to Cardi B's Grammy cancellation only added fuel to an already raging fire. Within 24 hours of her announcement, over 8 million tweets flooded social media using the hashtags Let Cardi Speak, Grammys Exposed, and Cardi Was Right. Music forums, fan pages, and influencers all had one question: why is one of the most influential women in hip-hop being punished for telling the truth? Industry veterans began breaking ranks. Veteran rapper and mogul Ice Cube tweeted, "The Grammys love our rhythm, not our resistance." Media outlets picked up the story and ran with it. Rolling Stone published an op-ed titled, "Cardi B didn't cancel the Grammys, she freed herself from them." In it, the writer argued that Cardi's move would have lasting repercussions across all genres, especially for women and BIPOC artists who've long felt boxed in by the industry's double standards. Atlantic Records, still reeling from Cardi's ongoing legal motion, released a carefully worded statement. "We respect our artists' creative voices and encourage them to express themselves authentically. While we support Cardi B's decision, we also remain committed to our long-standing partnership with the Recording Academy." Fans were not impressed. One viral TikTok duet screamed into the camera, "Y'all encourage her voice? Then why you try to mute her when she said something real?" Even members of the Grammy production crew began speaking anonymously to the press. One insider claimed, "The pressure came from the top. Sponsors and execs were afraid Cardi's performance would overshadow the tone of the show." But what does that say about the tone of the show in the first place? As pressure mounted, Cardi leaned further into her independence. She went live again, but this time not on Instagram. She used her Loud House platform, a decentralized streaming app funded by her artist rights movement. Wearing a vintage MTV hoodie, she stared into the camera and said, "Let's talk truth. Every time I've been the loudest in the room, y'all use that to sell tickets, get streams, and drive hype. But the second I use that same voice to call out the machine, I'm too controversial now?" She dropped another bomb. "I was gonna debut a track at the Grammys that I own, top to bottom, produced it, wrote it, cleared it, paid for it. But I ain't handing y'all a single stream of that if the room I walk into doesn't respect it." The audience exploded. That clip alone got over 20 million views in 12 hours. But what came next shifted everything. She announced the track, titled Red Dress, would debut instead at a free global livestream event hosted through Loud House, bypassing all corporate gatekeepers. And she wasn't doing it alone. The lineup? All female artists, all independent, all uncensored. Headliners included Rico Nasty Tinashe, Tierra Whack, Victoria Monet, and a surprise legacy guest still unrevealed. The event's name? Louder Than Grammys. Tickets? Free. Sponsorships? None. Broadcast? User-owned channels. Meanwhile, the Recording Academy scrambled to contain the fallout. Rumors swirled that multiple A-list performers were now considering pulling out, including artists who had not been directly involved in the Cardi drama. One anonymous source told Variety, "It's bigger than just Cardi. She lit the match." But the fire was already under the surface. Other artists began posting throwback photos of past Grammys with cryptic captions. "Didn't feel seen. The price of silence was too high. That night meant nothing to me." Fans speculated these were signs of solidarity or possible dropouts. Behind the scenes, Grammy producers were making desperate calls. Some insiders reported that they tried offering Cardi a last-minute, uncensored slot to return, even promising full creative freedom. Her response? "You had your chance." And with that, the line was drawn. The night of the Grammys arrived like a collision course between two parallel realities. On one screen, the 67th Annual Grammy Awards, filled with familiar glitter, polished scripts, and a palpable tension under the surface. On another, Louder Than Grammys, Cardi B's rogue livestream, raw, unpredictable, and louder than any red carpet flash. While the Grammy broadcast opened with safe monologues, and predictable pop performances, Louder kicked off with Rico Nasty walking through a crowd of fans in a warehouse in the Bronx, screaming, "This ain't a show, this is a statement." And a statement it was. Victoria Monet sang a haunting acoustic ballad about being edited out of her own narrative. Tierra Whack performed a spoken-word piece surrounded by giant contracts printed on LED walls, ripping one up mid-set to deafening applause. Then came Cardi. Wearing the same red dress meant for the Grammys, she stepped into the camera with nothing but silence. The crowd quieted. Over 1.8 million live viewers froze. Then the beat dropped. Her new track, Red Dress, roared through the venue. The opening lyrics, "You clapped when I danced, cried when I fell, but mute when I screamed," said, "Don't give them hell. So now I wear red, not for blood, but for truth. And I ain't asking, I'm proof." As Cardi's performance climaxed, the numbers rolled in. Louder had overtaken the Grammys in live engagement across TikTok, X, and YouTube. Fans weren't just watching, they were reacting, stitching, quoting, screaming. A viral comparison video showing the Grammys' Best New Artist announcement being met with polite claps, while Louder fans chanted Cardi's lyrics word for word, hit 5 million views within 2 hours. Meanwhile, backstage at the Grammys, chaos quietly brewed. A-list stars who had watched Cardi's stream on their phones were caught whispering during segments. At one point, a hot mic picked up a nominee muttering, "This don't feel like the main event anymore." Even a Grammy performer, whose name was redacted in early reports, was overheard saying, "They should have let her rock that stage. This crowd ain't even listening." As Louder closed with Cardi and every featured artist standing side by side, the screen flashed a message. They can't mute what they can't own. Welcome to the new era. With that, the stream ended. No speeches, no trophies, just truth. The next morning, the Grammys faced one of their most criticized broadcasts in years. Viewership was down 28% from the previous year. Engagement down 41%. Comment sections were flooded with "We'll louder than Grammys" memes, jokes, and calls for the Academy to listen before they lose everyone. Variety's post-show headline? Grammys were polished. Cardi was power. Cardi B didn't just boycott, she built an alternative, and the world chose to watch her instead. As the sun rose after the Grammys, headlines painted a clear picture. Cardi B's alternative stream wasn't just a protest, it was a paradigm shift. Louder Than Grammys had pulled in over 18 million total views in 24 hours, trending #1 on YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok in more than 30 countries. Meanwhile, Grammy coverage was reduced to background noise in a moment that should have belonged to it. The Recording Academy issued a statement congratulating its winners, but noticeably failed to acknowledge the controversy surrounding Cardi's absence. That silence was deafening. No mention of the Louder broadcast, no response to the leaked rehearsal edits, and absolutely no recognition of the cultural current now crashing over their legacy format. But the industry couldn't stay silent for long. By Monday morning, several artists had begun publicly distancing themselves from future Grammy involvement. SZA tweeted, "Grateful for past wins, but I hear the streets louder." And then, shockingly, Taylor Swift reposted Cardi's final message from Louder, adding, "Art should never be afraid of volume." Cardi, for her part, played it cool. She didn't gloat, she didn't attack. Instead, she posted a single image, a black and white photo of her Louder stage, empty after everyone had left. The caption? "It begins!" Fans went wild. That same day, Cardi B's legal team released a public update on her dispute with Atlantic Records. The statement confirmed that negotiations were underway to restructure her contract, with full ownership of her masters and creative rights on the table. Atlantic, likely fearing further cultural blowback, responded favorably. Insiders claimed Cardi's legal momentum had forced the label into crisis mode. One executive reportedly said, "If she walks, we don't just lose an artist, we lose a generation." But Cardi wasn't waiting for corporate reform. She launched her next move within days. Loud House Records, an independent label owned, operated, and funded by artists. Its first signing? Rico Nasty. Rumors swirled that Tierra Whack and even a major male rapper were in advanced talks to join. The internet lit up again. Loud House became a rallying cry, not just for music independence, but for equity, transparency, and control. Billboard called it the future invasion of artist rights. Meanwhile, Louder Than Grammys was picked up by multiple global platforms for syndication, including Hulu, Amazon, and YouTube Originals. Streaming rights reportedly sold for 7 figures. That meant Cardi not only controlled the show, she owned the replay. Compare that to the Grammys, whose YouTube clips saw record-low engagement. And just when things seemed to simmer, Cardi made one last move. She dropped a short film, Red Tape, on her Loud House app. In it, she played herself navigating a surreal label boardroom filled with cardboard executives who parroted the same words. Too loud, too risky, too much. The film ended with Cardi standing alone in front of a mirror, cutting the red tape binding her mouth. Fade to black. Then the words, "If I made you uncomfortable, you're welcome." The cultural internet lost it. In the weeks following, dozens of unsigned artists reported record-breaking streams after being featured on Louder. Indie festivals began inviting Cardi and her Loud House crew as keynote speakers. A high-profile tech CEO even announced a $10 million fund to support decentralized artist platforms. What began as a performance protest had become a creative revolution. Cardi B didn't just skip the Grammys. She rewrote the rules of power in music. From a canceled appearance to a global takeover, Louder Than Grammys proved that real influence doesn't need permission. Cardi built a movement, launched a label, and sent shockwaves through the industry by doing one thing: standing her ground. Now the question is, who's next? Are we entering an era where artists take back their voices for good, or will the old guard strike back harder? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Would you support a fully independent music awards show? Did Cardi just make history or spark a bigger war? Hit that like button if you believe in unfiltered art, and subscribe for more stories where the culture claps back. This isn't over, it's only the beginning. Loud House, Red Dress Movement, Cardi V's Industry, RIM Cardiib, or Recording Academy